Hello and welcome to International Career Adventures. We're all about helping and encouraging you to take your love of travel and tie it in with your career. What a powerful combination. Today we're thinking about getting into international schools. There are some wonderful careers out there. In the two previous videos, they were preparational things that you might want to go back and listen to. This one today is about the all-important interview. It's not easy, but with this preparation, you'll be well prepared. I've looked through lots and lots of teacher interview questions, and there are just so many. So I thought it would be wise on this occasion to group them together into topics. We're going to attack them as topics so that when you hear a question, you can think, that relates to this topic, and I have an answer prepared. So, with any interview, they're going to begin with, so tell me about yourself. It's just that icebreaker question that will come up. But your response needs to outline quickly your professional qualifications and the career experiences that have brought you to this point in time. If you want to make it a little bit unusual, you could refer to things that a supervisor might have said about you recently. So you could mention a teacher appraisal. Pick out some key words that were used to describe you. And you could even have a look at the school's vision and mission, pick out some key words from that and explain how that is you, that is who you are. And I feel that would be a strong answer that could impress. So here's topic one, remembering we brought lots of questions together into a topic. So something along the lines of, why do you want to work at this school? Why should we hire you? Now, this involves knowing the school really well. You need to understand their mission, their vision, their community, their philosophy. So in response to this, you need to make it clear that their philosophy aligns with yours. You need to make it clear also that your previous work experience ties in very smoothly with what you'll be doing at this school, so that you'll be able to fit in easily. You will also need to let them know that you have expertise in things that are important to them. If it's science, if it's arts, whatever it is, show them that you have expertise and experience in that and that you're ready to contribute to that team. It's also the time for you to share what you have that is a little bit unusual and makes you different from other teachers. So have your answer ready in terms of something that will catch their attention as to why they should hire you. So that special expertise that you have, you need to explain how it can be integrated into the usual teaching and learning that you do. On to topic two. Topic two will relate to the excellent teacher and team member. Remember, there are lots of questions you could phrase around this, but it's your opportunity to show what you understand of as being an excellent teacher. So the excellent teacher is a learner themselves, make that clear, and you see the need to work collaboratively as a team. You can bring things to the team and you're happy to receive from the team too. And that you're continually open to feedback, that you welcome appraisals and you're willing to learn from appraisals. And an excellent teacher, team member, should also build a good connection with the home, so that you're teaming together not only with your staff but with the home, because that does create strong learning for the students. It might be wise at this point to point out that you still understand that there are parts of this that you have to work on too. So that makes you feel more of a realistic person to the interview panel. Part three, instruction. Now you know there are so many things that could be asked about instruction. So here I'm listing some of the key questions that would come up. And to avoid talking too much in this video, I've actually done them as a document, so you can see them in the description below. But here, the main things to be thinking about, the questions that will come up will relate to what are some of the key points of good instruction? And what examples can you give of encouraging student agency? That's a common one recently. And describe a lesson that didn't go well. How did you solve that situation? How did you get out of it? And share a time when you feel you did quite well in a particular lesson or a unit of work. explain why you think it went well. How do you meet the needs of the different cultural and linguistic backgrounds of the learners in your lesson planning? How do you adapt your teaching to meet the needs of the diverse learners? How do you include students who have English as a second language? So all of these do have quite lengthy answers that are kind of too long to discuss here, but I've put the questions to you, and the way I would respond to them I've put as in a document below. Topic 4, the classroom. Now, because many interviews are online these days, you actually have an opportunity to show some quick snaps of your classroom, or possibly a few seconds of video. So questions about classroom could be something like, describe the way your classroom is set up and give your reasoning for doing it that way. So you need to be able to describe how the way you've set up your classroom fits in with your educational philosophy. You should talk about the things such as, at the beginning of the year, you allow students to have some say in how the classroom is set up. You actually let them take part in some of the movement of the furniture, arrangement of the furniture, and perhaps to bring in their cushions and things like that. So you're making the point that this philosophy of student agency actually shows in your classroom. And also, children working collaboratively will influence the way that your desks are set up, or the way that your reading corner works. So in all of these things, don't just describe it as a cold fact, relate it in with the philosophy, the reasons for why it's that way. Your classroom actually should display some examples of some of the home languages of the children. And so also on the wall, you might talk about the fact that the displays show a learning journey. It's not all fancy finished product. And you should talk about the fact that students have ownership of what goes on the wall and of what is shown in the classroom. All of this would give a quite strong answer to your classroom questions. The things I'm describing in classroom setup do relate mostly to primary, but actually you can take a lot of this and apply it to middle school and possibly high school too. Topic 5, somewhere in the interview you're going to be asked about assessment, record keeping and data. Questions such as, how do you know your students are learning? How do you make use of data in your work? Provide an innovative example of your assessment. So this is your opportunity to share with them the fact that you know the standards that you're working to, and they are tied in closely with your instructional strategies, and you have good record keeping for each of the children, so you know where they're at and you know where you're leading them on to. Let the interviewers know that you keep records of student work, perhaps online portfolios and student notebooks, so that you are regularly able to refer to their work and know where they are at in terms of the standards they are striving towards. Also, let the interviewing panel know that your students know where they're at in terms of assessing themselves and knowing how well they're doing. You'd do well at this point actually to describe an innovative assessment strategy that you came up with. Now, there are all sorts of things you could say, but just be sure that it is creative, but on the other hand, it ties in clearly with what the standards were, and you can show that and talk about how the students responded to it. So there are the interview questions arranged into 5 topics. So when the meaty part of the interview is coming towards the end, they'll address that question to you. Now, do you have any questions for us? So this is your time to be a bit creative. Now, here are some common questions that you could put to them. But actually, if you can think of questions that will keep them on their toes, cause them to have to think, as you did during their interview. So you could perhaps ask things such as, what achievements is this school most proud of? Or a very good question to ask might be, what are the ways that I could really contribute towards this school during my 3-month probationary period? That would be a good one to ask. Now, there are more challenging interview questions that do arise, and I've begun to list them and think them through, but I'd like you to put in the comments below challenging interview questions that you've been asked. When I receive these and when I add in my own, we can make a good collection of material for video 4, equipping one another to be ready for that difficult interview question that comes. Things such as, what's the professional reading that you've done recently, and what were the main points that you gather from that? Let's prepare for that. I look forward to seeing your questions in the comments. If you haven't already, I really would appreciate you giving me a like, a comment, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you.